Hey guys, an anxious man here. So I haven't posted any kind of IGTV videos since the last one I posted about a week or so ago, titled "I'm not worried about a virus. I'm worried about other people," which is still a little true. Um, as far as anxiety goes, I've been pretty calm. To keep you guys to catch you up on what I've been doing. So basically, my job, which is auto glass, has been deemed essential, like a lot of jobs out there, which I know for a lot of people is unfortunately better for them because they need to work and pay their bills because we're in a weird place where we've never been before as a country. Anyway, so my company gave us the option of, if you remember back in the fall of last year, I was on a furlough for 2 months. So they gave us an option of taking one of the months that they give us at the end of the year as furlough. So I'm on furlough for a month, collecting unemployment. I still have health benefits and all that, which is great. I do appreciate my company giving me the option, but I don't know, it just feels like the reason why I wanted to make this video is basically conversations that I'm having with people I know, my family, just what you're seeing online and things like that. It's the class warfare, where you have the poor people picking at each other based on political affiliations, and it's like Democrats want everyone to sit home and collect a check, and socialism, and then Republicans are whatever, and they don't want to do that, but yet we're still going to need a stimulus package, and it's a hoax trying to get rid of Trump and all, just nonsense about this pandemic we find ourselves in. Well, the truth is, I think what this is going to reveal, and again, this is a theory, it's not a conspiracy theory, this is my own thinking. The conspiracy theories, as you all are, if you're online, can see, are running rampant. But I feel like what maybe politicians, the government as a whole, might fear is that if we, let's say, have to really hunker down for a month or two or longer, I mean, we don't know what's going to happen. We will find out that, the economy, capitalism, money are a lot flimsier and imaginary than even we think they are. And what I mean by that is, yes, unfortunately, police, firefighters, hospital workers, anyone in the medical staff and science, and the things that keep society functioning, garbage removal, simple things like that. And again, I know this is beyond my understanding, but can function if, let's just say, and this is again my theory, my thoughts, they just stop everything. You don't have to pay any bills. This way, for the next 2 months, you're not getting any income. Won't really negatively affect you because you don't have to pay your mortgage, you don't have to pay your electric bill. We're just making a promise. The electric company's going to keep pumping electricity. The water's going to keep pumping water. The food will still keep getting shipped to the stores, and you'll still be able to get food. In return, we're not going to have mayhem in the streets, and we're all going to function and try to be nice to each other. I think it can work in theory. Of course, it's people again that kind of are the wrench in the machinery here. But again, it's just a thought. I don't know. I haven't heard this anywhere. I haven't read this anywhere. But it's just, like I said, it's one of those things where we're in a position where I am able and privileged enough that I could stay home from work. I could pay my bills through unemployment and just money that I have, not much, but my last 2 paychecks. But people, unfortunately, are forced to work, and if they get laid off for the next 2 weeks or a month, just for example, my parents own this house, and they called all their bill collectors, who of course are going to keep running up interest, and things are going to suck in a few months, but in the spirit of something, some sort of compromise, they're not going to have to pay for at least this month, except for the mortgage company. The bank said, fuck you, we want our money. And the way I look at it is, if everyone just kind of coalesced into one mind, as I think we can, and stopped being spiteful, political parrots, or just, crazy talking space monkeys, we would understand that if no one paid their mortgage, because they can't, not just because they're being assholes, but I think we should just be assholes and not pay it ever again anyway, but that's for another video. Who are they going to foreclose your house to? The guy next door who also is foreclosed? You know what I mean? I mean, what would happen? Would the 1% then scoop up everyone's house when it's on foreclosure and turn this country into a mall that no one can buy at, or use? Then you're talking about real revolution. Maybe, I don't know. People might just cry and die. I don't know. These are just my thoughts. But, in light of, people are dying. America has just surpassed the highest numbers that were in China, which was at the most in Italy. So numbers are rising, of course, because now we have more tests and we're testing more people. I'm keeping my world small. I mean, the people live in my house. I'm seeing my girlfriend, who doesn't seem to have it. And again, you do your best. Trying to stay indoors as much as possible. I'm watching a lot of Golden Girls on Hulu, which is awesome, by the way. Check it out. I have a list of other things to watch as well. I just want to share some thoughts. Everyone, I think, even myself, being someone with chronic anxiety, you can really just turn your mundane thoughts into just catastrophic craziness. And I know that everyone is on some level of panic. This is unprecedented. And you know what I meant. And what I was going to say is, whether you're for the president or not, or whatever, again, political, I don't, whatever, but this guy, I understand that whoever is in charge, or the face they put in the news, the president's just like a bobblehead, whatever. It would be fucking chaotic for them to have to say things and do things and make decisions based on something that's really never happened before. However, he is doing an amazing job at doing all the wrong things. It's really great. Me personally, I'm showering every day, despite things I may have said online on Facebook for jokes. I'm not really brushing my hair. I got egg on my shirt this morning for that breakfast. I said I was going to record right after breakfast, but then I started watching stuff. YouTube exists, and it's like a bottomless pit of stuff, and I just got wrapped up in Terminator videos and whatever stuff I'm doing. Hope you guys are all keeping in good spirits. Obviously, I know a lot of people out there are in worse shape than others. They are out of money. This may bankrupt people, but that's why I wanted to make the video. The main point was, I know I'm probably going to say an oversimplified version of what I think could happen, but what I think could happen or should happen is you just stop it all. You just stop the economy. And by the economy, I mean, who cares if the stock market goes to zero? Who cares? Let it go to zero. And like I said, as an agreement, a social agreement, just keep doing, if you are essential and you're clear and you're clean, continue being a police officer, a firefighter, or medical staff. We're going to make sure that your necessities are taken care of, because and everything will just continue. And if in a month or two it all ends, we'll just pick it up right from there. And I know that's an oversimplified version. I'm sure there are things in motion, but really, money, finances, companies that may go under, even the big blood-sucking corporations, same goes for them. We'll keep your power on, we'll keep your computers working, but just don't try to fucking get blood from a stone from these people, being us, who are not working and can't work. And you're putting people in a position where, like my company, for example, I don't think auto glass is essential. I know it's a safety feature in the car, but if you have a crack in your windshield, you're fine. You're gonna be fine for years, unless it's an emergency vehicle. And who's gonna pull over a cop car now who has a crack in the windshield? Nobody. It doesn't happen. Cop cars won't get pulled over. But if it's a smashed windshield, sure. You want to keep 2 guys on call and say, hey, next Thursday, make sure you got a guy in the shop so we can change the windshield, and do it like that. But to put people in a position where it's you have to work, you have to pay your bills, and you might be exposed to a virus that may kill you, or go home and starve and go into foreclosure. It's really kind of fucking stupid. That's where we find ourselves, and I don't know, it's chaotic. I want to hear what you guys think. I'm sure I can guess what a lot of you think, but I just was curious of what you guys think. I really do believe that this may very well be one of the good things that happens for us. And I know people have died. I know that sounds crazy, but we may come out of this better than before. Maybe we'll be a little bit more patient with each other. Maybe we'll appreciate life a little bit more, and humanity a little more. Maybe we can make great changes to our system, because we understand that the system is a lot flimsier. Our infrastructure alone is a lot flimsier and a lot shoddier than we think it is, because when push comes to shove, our medical industry alone, the hospitals alone, just cannot in a real crisis as we see, and anything worse than this, obviously, what's going to happen? You may die. People are maybe dying right now because they just don't have the equipment to keep them alive. So it's kind of scary to think that you might be okay, quote unquote, but you die because there's not enough syringes to put the things into your arm, or saline, or the fucking whatever they are, the IV bags, or ventilators. That's kind of crazy to me. That's really kind of crazy to me. But it's when you privatize everything down to the fucking Q-tips in a hospital and the drugs that keep people alive. It's what you have. Everything is for profit, and I guess on a normal, comfortable basis, it functions. Obviously, we are one of, if not the only, Western culture that doesn't have universal health care. And of course, we don't have the money for it until now, when we actually, shit's gonna hit the fan, and then all of a sudden the money shows up. Just like back in January, when we may have gone to war with Iran, the $1 trillion budget they needed to tanks and missiles just poof came out of nowhere. And the Federal Reserve just said they're gonna, which is a private company, it's not a bank, and you can do your own research on that. Just they're gonna give us the money on like a 58% interest or whatever, however they were. This is the thing that people get upset about. Like, we're gonna borrow money from ourselves and then have to owe ourselves. Like, who, what, why is, how, what is happening? And that's why it's confusing, and there's no trust, and it leaves the people, the common folk, acting, even the most rational people, acting like conspiracy theorists, because they think it's, this person's responsible or that person's responsible, and it leaves the conspiracy theorists to have fucking, as Joe and Calamezzo would say on Parks and Rec, speculate wildly. Yeah, I'm reading some things and it's like, oh boy, if anybody out there still thinks this is a hoax and it's fake, go outside and start touching random doorknobs and hanging out in wherever, I don't know, just go find people and give them all a bear hug and rub foreheads, and then let's see what you feel like in 14 days. The whole, this is a chemical attack and man-made weaponized virus, it's like, I mean, it's not like it can't, I don't think it's impossible that it could happen, but I don't think that's what's happening. If they wanted us dead, they would just kill us, right? Wouldn't they just put nerve gas in the water, is crop dust nerve gas, or put something in the water supply, or put something in Fritos, and you'd kill a lot more people that way. I don't know. It just seems, the more I think about it, the more I think about all the times in my life when I looked at like the Salem witch trials or like the Dark Ages and thought, how did they act like that? No, I get it. Back then they just looked at the sky and thought it was God punishing them. Now people still do that, but they also think it may be reptilian overlords that live under the center of the earth, but are shapeshifters, and Hillary Clinton's one of them, and they're drinking baby blood, and or it's just like a cabal of some blood cult that stems back from 6,000 years ago with Skull and Bones and the ice wall snipers and the flat earth, and they're all like coalescing into one just malaise of stupid. I don't even know what the word, glaze of stupidity. And just this like negative energy going out there. And it's not that there can't be any kind of collective fuckery going on with the people who have all the wealth in the world, and maybe using this opportunity to like do malicious shit. Hey, there's no way to deny that stuff entirely, but I do feel like we are still the same people we were a couple hundred years ago or 1,000 years ago, looking up at the sky or viewing the thing that we don't understand, the thing we have no control over, the virus, whatever it is, and just blaming something. The sky, God, the rich people, poor people, black people, white people, Chinese people. Everyone's looking for someone to blame. And the one thing about this that, again, I'm not saying it's a good thing, but there's something about it that I like. I won't say enjoy it, and you guys might think I'm crazy. It's that the universe has shown us and has given us a great example of how little control we have over anything. We are just as significant and fragile and vulnerable as the leaves on a tree, a blade of grass, all the other animals on this planet, which we are also an animal on this planet. And it just lets you know that, we have, not only do we have like no control, but we never did. And the only control we think we have is complete illusion. And it's like kind of a wake-up call. And I hope, people are understanding that. Like, yeah, this isn't like a biblical apocalypse. There's not millions of people dying by the minute, and waves are crashing over the cities, and nuclear holocaust, and all that, terrible stuff we see in the movies. It's something much more subtle. It's a virus, and it's kind of a crapshoot, as we're seeing. People of all ages are dying, of all quote unquote, we don't know for sure, health levels, and some people have underlying symptoms, some people have underlying diseases, some people have underlying, complications, some people don't, or maybe they do, maybe it's just genetic, we don't know. The best thing we could do is hope for the best and prepare for the worst, and I've been doing that, like, mentally the past couple weeks. Like I said, I'm not having panic attacks or freaking out. I know there are people I know that are freaking out, people I don't know that are freaking out, but of course if I found tomorrow I had coronavirus, or my dad had it, or my mom had it, or someone in my family, or someone in this house, yeah, I would, my anxiety level would crank up a notch. But at the same time, it's like, how mad can I get at something I have literally no control over, just like everything else? But this is, what can you do? I mean, what am I supposed to do? Put a bag over the house? I don't know. Like, I'm sure there's precautions I could be taking that I'm not taking, but what do you do? So I think being calm helps, and also understanding that it is out of our control. And all the, I wrote a poem about it recently after I had a conversation with a friend of mine. It's kind of like, I can't get angry at the things that people are doing to cope with this time, because we've only seen it in movies or read about it in books. We've never had it. Everyone who's angry at, like, China, like, oh, it's a third world country and this and that. It's like, well, here we are in the United States of America, the best of the best, the richest, and it's kind of barely holding together, because our politicians and our leaders, our elected officials, our system in general is shaky and flimsy, and it's showing its weaknesses. And what if something worse than has happened? In the movies, the asteroid hits the Earth, and in like a month, they're like, obviously rebuilding all the landmarks. Michael Bay and all these directors but people are sort of like kumbaya, holding hands coast to coast, and it's like, fuck, if something truly astronomically catastrophic happened, in a month we wouldn't even have the Wi-Fi back on, or electricity. It would just be chaos. Like, who reports to who, and that kind of thing. And the hospitals can't take this. What are they going to do when everyone in earshot is fucked? Now what? And again, I mean, I can go on and on and on, like movies and things like that, but in real life, like, it's just showing the weaknesses and the flaws, and how clear all of our tax money and all of the things that we pay as being a functional member of society. You have these Republicans, Democrats, right wing and left wing, kind of fighting about who's paying the most and who's the hardest worker, and we're all paying taxes one way or another. We're all contributing one way or another, but it doesn't fucking seem to really matter. And I'm trying not to be so cynical. I understand that, individually we're pretty okay, but as a group we're, talking space monkeys, and it doesn't really seem to be working out so great. But things are not, and it's not like you can't say there were red flags or signs or big fucking signs and big red flags, but we all got caught up in our complacency and our comfort, and now it is, and I'm not talking about comfort as far as like quarantining in your house. I'm talking about like letting horrible shit just kind of go and doing nothing about it. And I don't mean just voting. I mean just on a person-to-person basis, just not giving a fuck about the people around you because it ain't you. And I'm guilty of this, man. I'm definitely guilty of this. I'm not saying I'm going to become like a clergyman when this is all over, or a guru, or any of those things, but number one, when this is over and settled, when it will pass, I'm going to party hard for about a weekend. I'm really going to party hard. If I make it through this, and everyone I know makes it through this, I'm really going to celebrate. Not just for the sake of getting drunk and having a good time, but to understand that how easily, again, all the things you take for granted, like tomorrow, can be taken away from you. And I'm also going to, again, like I said, I understand some of the things people are going to do to cope with this, and they may not be healthy things or smart things or the right thing. But I'm also, when this is over, going to judge very hard the actions and intentions of people and how they acted during this thing, including politicians, heads of companies. How did your company treat you during all this? How did your bank treat you? How did the people who have your mortgage treat you? How did the electric company treat you? How did these companies treat us during this time? Because when push comes to shove and this is all over and we gotta, like, it's time for the ones that acted like assholes to, we just leave them alone. And they will go away just by natural selection. They will just no longer exist. And as far as voting is concerned and all those kind of things, look at these people who are saying, just work. Just get up and go to work. Donald Trump's trying to tell everyone it's great, and then someone tells him they had a fever a couple days before, and he literally runs away. Which I get, that's a natural reaction. But don't tell people that, on Easter Sunday it's going to be, you can go to church and everything's going to be kumbaya, and it's like a couple weeks away. Or a week away. I don't even know. I don't know what day it is anymore. This is like day 6 for me, but I don't keep track of the days. I really don't. Anyway, just like I said, these are just some thoughts. But I wanted to just put this out there and see what you guys think, and where your heads are at. Let's have a conversation. I got time. I'm home until the end of April. If you also have time and you want to have a conversation, we could talk about it. We can make it funny. It doesn't have to be super serious. Instagram has a messenger thing. We can do that. We can put it out there. I mean, I'm just, doing a lot of nothing. Kind of quarantining myself inside the quarantine house. I'm just kind of keeping to myself. Not because I'm afraid of anyone in my home, but whatever. I'm just telling myself I'm going to do all these things, and so far it's been a week, and I've done one thing that I wanted to do, and the rest of the time I have eaten snacks and went back and forth between the Golden Girls and Parks and Rec reruns on Netflix, and I'm not watching that Tiger documentary. I don't give a fuck. You guys can talk about it all you want. It's crazy. No. I watched the trailer and I was like, no, not for me. I'm sure it'll be entertaining on some level, but it's just got this weird, I don't know what it is about it. It seems very whatever. It doesn't seem like it's something I want to watch. It's not about animal rights, or I don't like that guy's face. I don't like the whole, I didn't like anything about it. So I'm not watching that shit. I will look elsewhere for my entertainment, and I also create stuff. I mean, I did create a couple things this week, not as much as I would like, but whatever. I'm taking it day by day, and I hope you guys are doing the same. Anyway, I'm gonna cut out. I'm gonna go back to I was watching First Blood, a retrospective review on YouTube, for whatever reason, Rambo, anyway. And I hope you guys are well, hope you guys are good. If you guys want to have a conversation, I'm here. If you don't, that's cool too. I'm entertaining myself with music and YouTube videos and Hulu and Netflix, and I'm making stuff. I've been playing the drums a little bit here and there. It is very annoying and loud, so I don't do it too much for the sake of the other people in this house. I'm trying not to eat too much garbage, and I'm not losing that fight, but I'm not winning that fight. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. I'm here. If you want to talk about anxiety, how you're feeling, something funny you want to share, whatever, hit me up, and we can do this. Let's do this. Otherwise, be safe. See you guys on the other side, and I don't know, stay humble, I guess.